I'm a little close. I don't know, a little grainy. But that is okay. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now, once again, my apologies for the delay. This technical stuff, some days it's great, sometimes not so much. Uh, Come on. There we go. Okay. Let me get my safety glasses really quick and I'll be with you guys. They were right here in front of me. Okay. All right. Hey. Welcome to night 3, not day 3, but night 3, because this is night school. And tonight we are talking about how we reflect, rewire, and reclaim. How we reflect, rewire, and reclaim. So thank you so much for joining me. I've got Instagram, I've got Facebook, and I've got YouTube. So I'm looking a little bit of everywhere. So forgive me for that. But I try to make eye contact with you guys eventually. Okay. So feel free to type in your health questions as I talk. And I usually like to begin with just some information that is hopefully helpful to you. And if it's helpful, feel free to share and all those good things, because you don't want to keep in all the good knowledge for yourself. We're here to help everyone that we possibly can. All right. So again, tonight we're going to talk about how to reflect, rewire, and reclaim your power. And of course, don't worry, I will let you guys know how this all ties into food and bettering your relationship with food in order to live a more vital, healthier life. All right. So, in case you're new here, I am Dr. Denise. They call me Dr. Denise Thinks. And tonight, again, we're enrolling in night school, but not the kind with pencils and pop quizzes, although you probably want to get some paper to take some notes, okay? So this kind of school happens when the world goes quiet, when the distractions stop, right? When it's just you, your choices, your thoughts, all of those kind of things matter. So this is where wisdom is either built or it's going to be buried. Okay. All right. So let me give you guys a quick question. Have you ever laid in bed at night and your mind just won't stop? Has that ever happened to you? You're lying in bed and you're just constantly going. You're replaying convos, you're rehearsing regrets, reliving cravings, rewriting what you wish you had said or did. I know I have multiple times, right? So, yeah, that's not anxiety. Be careful of that. That's just your mind asking for closure. So, that's your inner self saying, can we reflect real quick, right? So, you don't just build habits during the day, you actually reprogram them at night. Why? because your brain files away your choices while you sleep. So if you don't reflect, you're going to repeat. All right? Let me say that again. If you don't reflect, you are going to repeat. All right? So when it comes to food, drinking, or self sabotaging behavior, the nighttime is when we either lie to ourselves, beat ourselves up, or learn from it and grow. So here's my 3R framework. Again, reflect, rewire, reclaim. So let's start out with reflecting. Here's some questions that I want you to ask yourself when you are ready to go to bed tonight. Okay, so just before you go to bed, you're lying there, you're reflecting, and you're asking yourself, what happened today? What did I eat? What did I feel? What did I avoid? Those are the questions you want to ask yourself, and it's okay to say it out loud. Matter of fact, I want you to say it out loud, and I want you to actually answer yourself out loud. Okay? Also, feel free to journal this as well, because it's great to go back a week from now, a month from now, a year from now to reflect on how you was feeling during that season of your life. Okay? So I'll ask again on the reflection, what happened today? What did I eat? What did I feel? And what did I avoid? Step 2 on the rewiring. These are questions to ask yourself. What could I do differently next time? Can I imagine myself making the wiser choice? So that goes into what we were talking about last night. If you didn't make last night's class, I invite you to listen back to it. We did a little bit of a quick meditation, and it just teaches you how to go to your twin self to ask these questions, and your twin self will actually give you the perfect answers. So, yes, there is a possibility that you can live your life perfectly, but you have to go back and do these 3 steps. You have to go back and do some meditation, some guided meditations. Okay. So, with the rewire, I ask again, what could I do differently next time? And you can ask your twin self this. And then you can ask yourself, can I imagine myself making the wiser choice? Your twin self definitely can. Okay. Then the third step is reclaiming your power. So what does that mean? Or what kind of questions can you ask yourself? What lesson am I walking into tomorrow with? What lesson am I walking into tomorrow with? And another question you can ask is, how do I speak to myself with compassion? How do I speak to myself with compassion? This third step for me was really eye-opening as I was looking for something to help me with my relationship with food. Um, if you're new again to this channel, I used to go by Dr. Truth because I would just give information to people just raw, black and white. I didn't really care about feelings. I didn't really care about, just having compassion for what people have gone through. But now life has a funny way of showing you what you need to be towards other people. So I learned that I needed to just show more compassion to people. I'll just keep it that simple. Okay. All right. So on the reclaiming, what lesson am I walking into tomorrow with? And how do I speak to myself with more compassion? All right. So this ain't about guilt. And this is just completely about growth. And once I learned these things, I started elevating more and more and more. Okay. This is what I want for you. So maybe today you ate out when you said you cook, right? Or maybe you poured a drink when you said you were going to cut back. Maybe you skipped your breath work. Sometimes that happens. And I don't understand why those days that I miss those days for myself, because it's like I love breath work. I feel so much better when I don't do it. We just still have those days where we miss things, right? Because we're human at the end of the day. So before you go to sleep tonight, ask yourself these additional questions. What would the wiser version of me do differently? What would the wiser version of me do differently? And what could I do tomorrow that moves me in that direction? That's huge. Because if you think about, it's really about planning. You think about what you're going to do tomorrow and you have certain things in place, you're less likely to go backwards. Okay? Just trust me on that. Trust the process. And then the last thing, sorry, just those two additional questions. Just those two additional questions, okay? Because that's actually learning, and that is what night school is all about, okay? So here's some action steps that I have for you guys. I want you to know, I want to know that have you ever laid down at night feeling like you portrayed your own intentions? Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever laid down at night feeling like you betrayed your own intentions? If so, drop a person in the bed in the chat for me, okay? And if you're committing to night school tonight or starting tonight for the rest of these last few days, let me know in the chat and let me say, hey, I am in class. I am coming to class, all right? So as I close, your next level of wisdom won't show up during the highlight reel of your life. It shows up in the quiet. It shows up at night. So usually it shows up when no one is watching you. That's real transformation right there, okay? So tonight, before you hit head to pillow, reflect, rewire, reclaim, okay? Because wisdom doesn't just live in the books. It lives in bedtime breakthroughs. All right, guys, that's all I have for you tonight. Same time tomorrow, day 4. Day 4 is about the imitation game. The imitation game. It's about who you're becoming and who you're modeling. All right. See y'all then. Thanks for your time.